It is Saturday, February 9th, and we have breaking news here at MMA Fighting. UFC 234 has suffered a devastating blow today as middleweight champion Robert Whittaker has been forced to withdraw from his main event title defense against Kelvin Gastelum after being hospitalized with a hernia overnight. So ESPN first reported this news Saturday afternoon. Whittaker is now expected to undergo surgery today, while Kelvin Gastelum has been removed from the card entirely. In their place, the co-main event between Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva has been bumped up into a three-round main event, the first three-round pay-per-view main event in a long, long time. My name is Shaun Al-Shatti, and I'm joined today by MMA Fighting's Jed Meshew. And Jed, like I said, man, this is a devastating blow for all involved. Out of nowhere. And for Robert Whittaker, this is now the second time in a span of a year that the middleweight champion has been forced to withdraw from a headlining slot in his hometown, Australia. UFC 234 already wasn't the deepest card, man. I think many were calling it a two-fight pay-per-view. What is your big takeaway from Saturday's news?
Yeah, I mean, devastating is the right word here. First, obviously, you got to feel bad for Robert Whittaker. Hope, whatever this kind of sudden onset hernia apparently just came up overnight. Hope he's going to, pull through this and everything will be fine, kind of professionally for him going forward. But this card was already top heavy. It was really a two-fight card, depending on your view on the Adesanya Silva fight. I know a lot of people at least are interested in seeing Israel Adesanya's next go around, and now he's kind of thrust into a main event. But this is a devastating, and frankly, Shaun, I kind of have been mulling this over. Do you think that losing Whittaker is more harmful than having lost maybe Izzy overnight? Kind of where would you is this the worst injury that could have happened to the card?
I would say this is probably the worst injury that could happen to the card because, I mean, our own Dave Meltzer always talks about this. Pay-per-views, it's the main event. That's the one that ultimately matters. That's the one that will get people to buy, to spend their money on the card.
It is true, but I mean, just this week, you heard Robert Whittaker say things along the lines of, thank you, Israel Adesanya, for kind of making this the event that it is and drawing in that interest. So I am kind of wondering if maybe Whittaker is the lesser of two evils to drop out here. But I mean, obviously, it's not good any way you go when your co-main event is now going to be Lando Venata, who was on the Fight Pass undercard, I think, suddenly just bumping all the way to co-main. This clearly is a bad run of things for the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, today, Kelvin Gastelum's manager, after the news broke, Ali Abdelaziz, he appeared on ESPN radio, and he basically effectively said there was no discussion to keep Kelvin on the card, and he would like to see Kelvin now face the winner of Adesanya versus Silva in April. Presumably, I'm guessing that would be for an interim title. He also said the UFC will take care of Kelvin Gastelum financially, so that's good on that respect. But still, man, I mean, we're at a point now where the last official middleweight title defense, you got to go all the way back to November 2017. That was Bisping versus GSP. Obviously, some of that was through no fault of Robert Whittaker's. That was because of Yoel Romero missing weight. But Whittaker's last fight was now in June. I mean, interim title, should that even be an option at that point? Or if it's up to you, do you try to wait and book Kelvin versus Robert Whittaker again?
Yeah, when those comments came out, I was pretty shocked. I think if you wanted to save this card by bumping, I know Kelvin and Anderson Silva were already scheduled to fight once before. That fell apart for kind of a number of reasons on both sides there. So if you had suddenly wanted to kind of make that happen and just say, hey, Izzy, sorry, it's not your turn. Let's bump Anderson up, do an interim title. I could at least understand the thinking behind that, especially given kind of what you said. The belt hasn't officially been defended in well over a year at this point. But this kind of April turnaround, I get it. Kelvin could turn around very quickly, but that depends on how this fight goes. If Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva go to war, they're not going to turn around in a couple of weeks and have an interim title fight. And frankly, I don't know what kind of timeline we're looking for with Whittaker's return. I know he is going into surgery today. Hernias may or may not be kind of a detrimental, long-lasting effect on him. I'm not going to speak to the kind of medical side of that, but I think you just kind of shelve Kelvin, wait till probably the end of summer, and just try and rebook this fight. That makes the most sense to me, but who knows what's going to happen at this point? It's all up in the air.
Yeah, again, incredibly unfortunate news. Robert Whittaker is out of UFC 234's main event with a hernia that he suffered overnight. He is going into surgery here Saturday afternoon. Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva is now the new main event, a three-round fight to main event UFC 234. Incredibly unfortunate news all around, but keep it locked to MMA Fighting as we bring you continuing coverage from Australia. Thank you.